We are hold on. We are live, baby.
Yes, yes. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there. This is Raw Takes Unfiltered. Your boy Triborough, Young Storm, and my boy right here, Movie Impulse, Capo to you
Capo the
to
cat.
Capo, yes. And we're doing the last live stream of 2025. And it's been a
Mhm.
great year for music and for films and a lot of great stuff. But tonight we are doing the best and worst albums of 2025.
Yeah, my list is more based on rap. But I do have one.
Yes.
Triborough does have some
Yep.
R&B and some pop stuff.
Mhm.
But I only really have one R&B album that I've been listening to, so we'll get into that later. But let me just shout out two honorable mentions because as far as mass appeal, I love what Nas has been doing. He has brought our veterans alive. And can we just say that Slick Rick's new album
Oh, that was
was
it.
great? Awesome
Definitely.
storytelling,
Uh-huh.
classic. I mean, we're talking over 20 years this man hasn't dropped an album. And then
That-
to hit us that hard with one, I
Facts.
just have to give Slick Rick his props and everything like that. So it was
Yeah.
real great to hear him and Eric Sermon's project, Dynamic Duos. I really haven't absorbed it much, but from what I've taken in, it's already a classic. It's
Yeah.
just because of the legends that are on there. Helter Skelter, Mob Deep, MOP. I
Yeah.
mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Ghost, you got Method Man and
Salt-
Redman. That
yeah,
song
salt
was
and pepper. The salt and pepper joint I like too.
Yes, that's the last track on the
Yeah.
album. That Salt and Pepper is fire.
Yeah.
I love that
Definitely.
one too. So
Okay.
shout out to Eric Sermon as well. Love that album.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give those two shout outs as honorable mentions because they are legends in the
Mm,
game.
no doubt. All right. So we starting our list from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5, or it doesn't matter.
We could do, we could do 5 to 1. That way the
I,
anticipation builds
my
up. You
number
want to do
five.
bad or good?
Huh?
You want to do the
And
bad or good first?
let's do the good first. Let's do the good
Okay.
first.
All right. All right.
All right. My number five, as far as rap, my number five, an album that just came out a week ago, and people are in their feelings for this album. And this is an album that we waited for 30 years. Nas
Hmm.
and Primo Light Years. Listen, I had to do like 3 different live streams over the course of last week because of this album. Because people were in their feelings. They didn't like the beats by Primo. They didn't like the collab with AZ. I'm like, bro, like this Nas is 50 years old, right? 50 years old, and he's giving us quality grown man rap. What did
Yeah.
you guys want? Okay, like I feel like people wanted a whole album, 15 tracks of New York State of Mind. And he's not in that headspace anymore. He's not in Queensbridge anymore. He's a mogul. He has many businesses and ventures that he's doing. He didn't have to do this album. Okay,
No.
like he even mentioned it in one of the songs on Mad Men that people been harassing him and Primo for 30 years for this album. And he finally delivered. And this is the backlash that he's getting. I don't get it. This album is a masterpiece. I love the creative songs by Nas, like pause tapes where he talked on actually making the pause tapes back in the day for a beat. That's something that I did when it came to like the radio and taping off the radio, and I would pause the tape when the commercials came on and then unpause the tape after it left. And I love that song. The beat is fire. Signed Together, a great song that gives me Guru vibes. Like I could definitely hear Guru, rest in peace,
Hmm.
Guru, on that song. Madman is grimy. Welcome to the Underground. There's so many bangers on that album, and
And
I
let's.
can't understand why the fans that wanted this album is shitting on it now. It makes no sense.
I don't get it. And let's not forget writers. How
Riders,
he's talking
love that.
about how air, graffiti came about,
Right.
and then subliminally with ghostwriting and he is one of the very, very few artists that literally gave every female rapper a shout out on a
Right.
song, made it rhyme and made it make sense. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know what that problem either. And I'm going to cross that off of my list because that was actually number 4.
Mhm.
So I'll just blend it with yours. I love the album. I don't get what the big fuss was. He's not, he's not shooting people. You know what I'm saying? He's not
Right.
robbing people. He's opening a casino. This man is thinking business moves, cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
He's telling you what the future is. And for all the disrespect,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if another artist that collabed, like let's say Ghostface, you know, people want another Ghostface album, but they want all RZA production.
Right.
Well, with the backlash of all this, why would you even want to bother if you're just going to get this type of backlash? So I feel when it comes to certain collabs, we should just appreciate the fact that we get the music
Right.
and not, you know, going through all this. It's crazy. I don't understand. I loved it. I thought
Yeah.
every track was fire,
Mhm.
and there is no skippables on here.
Skips.
And I think 10, 15 years from now, like what I said about 444 with Jay, is
Mhm.
we're gonna look back and actually see how grown man Nas
Right.
really was on this album, and that
Exactly.
is what we needed. We don't need more shoot 'em up. We got enough.
Mhm.
We got
He
enough.
even said on the song, you know, there's a bar where he said, you know, I taught you people how to dress, even though y'all still a mess. He's talking about real life shit, and people are.
Yeah.
I don't get, and I, you know, I will be the first to say, like, I was skeptical of Primo, like for the past maybe 7, 8 years. I felt like he did slide a little bit. It wasn't quality that he was giving us, but
Yeah.
he made it up on the Della album, and then going over to this album, I think he's back. So I will
Yeah.
never doubt DJ Premier ever again. I think he's officially back, and this is one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, well put together. He's on his grown man shit. We're
Yeah.
not talking about, you know, boosting cars and robbing and sticking up kids.
Right.
That is old Nas, just like AZ. On that song, and I still will fight. First of all, AZ's catalog is insane.
Crazy.
Insane. I
Fact.
love his catalog. To me, he has never put out a trash album. Maybe the beats were not up to par, but
Mhm.
that's what happens when you are representing yourself and you have
Right.
to buy all these beats yourself. But he has never, he's one of them lyricists that never spit a whack verse to me.
Facts.
He's never had something that I've been like, ooh, AZ, you could have came better than that. Never.
Right.
You know, to me, he's another Jada. He respects the craft. He's going to talk about what he knows. And I just don't like the fact that Nas is getting so much slack on this album. And I hope a couple veterans really speak up. I know Joe Buttons, he had spoke up about it.
Yeah.
And he was pissed off. Them and the whole podcast, they were mad because of the fact that they're disrespecting.
Right.
Like, and I don't really know if it's these younger cats, you know. I don't know if it's just them, but I noticed a lot of the old heads that have been
Mhm.
saying that. And I'm
Right.
nah, man, hell no.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. Can I get into my number 5?
Yeah.
Because they're in the same family, I blended these two albums together
Okay.
because they all come from the same, you know, tree. They're
Right.
all the same olive branch.
Right.
But Stabbed and Shot 2
Mm.
with 38 Special and Benny the Butcher. Y'all know Benny is my
Mm-hmm.
boy. I love Benny the Butcher.
Right.
And then also Conway's new album just came out 2
I heard
weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's You Can't Kill God with Bullets. He is on his grown man rugged shit. Like,
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. I mean, we got Justice League on the promotion, you know, on the production. We got Hit Boy, of course, because Hit Boy's always down with them.
Yeah.
You've got Alchemist on there. We got Eric Sermon on there. He got Timberland.
Timberland. I
He
heard
got
about that Timberland beat. Yeah, because
yo.
they did the Jay-Z beat they took from Volume 3.
I don't know what beat. The beat is fire. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. But he only
Supposedly
spit,
he took the beat from I think it's called When It's Hot It's Hot. From that was on Volume 3, the Life and
Yeah.
Times of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
And they took that beat and he gave it to Conway, but he kind of like updated it a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yo, it's the album again. This has been one of the greatest years for hip hop albums,
Yeah.
as far as like rap goes and the anticipation that we waited for. And yo, I got to give it to Conway. He has dropped like literally project after project after project, and he
Right.
has not disappointed. And I really feel this album. If y'all have not heard it yet, I know you know, I'm still working on. I haven't listened to De La Soul yet. You haven't listened to Conway yet. So we got to get up on that level because our list might have changed just slightly on that because I got a lot of respect for De La Soul, R.I.P. So it's crazy. I love this year for hip hop, man. 2025 has been amazing. But we already know my number 4. So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is another album we've been waiting for like, I want to say maybe 12 years. Mobb Deep, Infinite. I love this album. I did a Mobb Deep ranking with the homie Mojo Flows. You will see Mojo Flows in the future on this platform. We're gonna bring him on as a guest. And that was great. And album, this is an album we was waiting for. And you know, rest in peace of Prodigy. You know, sometimes it's hard to do a posthumous album when an artist dies. But being that Prodigy was one of those artists that he was always in the studio, he has a ton of unreleased vocals and material. So they had a lot to work with on this album. And I love the fact that they kept it in-house and in family with The Alchemist and Havoc. Havoc is one of the best producers all the time. Alchemist to me is the best producer of this year. You know, and you know they had the Nas, couple Nas features. They had Big Noid on the record. You can't have a Mobb Deep album without Big Noid, and he's very underrated as an MC. They had the 2 R&B joints, the one with SZA and the one with Georgia Smith, and I love the album. I think the album is phenomenal. You know, one of my some of my favorite tracks is Taj Mahal, Against the World, Easy Bruh, Pour the Henny with Nas, Score Points. It's like, again, that's an album with that's no skips. And it gave me like it's almost like Prodigy is still here. Like the stuff he was talking about, it's like he never died. He's still with us, not in the physical, but spiritually we can still hear him. And it was great to hear. Like, and they did it right. They didn't throw in like a bunch of features that he would have never worked with. You know what I'm saying? And it was real tracks. You know, shout out to Alchemist and Havoc again. The production is phenomenal. This is another no skip album, a Far Mic classic. And this is definitely one of my favorites, top 5 of this year.
Yeah, I do love that. Unfortunately, it didn't make my list because there were so many albums I just found myself just recycling to listen to it. But it is an immaculate album. It was fantastic the way they blended it. They didn't make it sound, you know, like they had to slow him down or speed him up. And that is one of the good factors about him being in the studio so much. It kind of reminds you of Tupac because Tupac did that a lot. So when those albums were being released years later, we were still thinking like, is he really dead? But it's just because he was so consistent and so into the culture that he knew what he was talking about. So in my opinion, you know, in my opinion, it's just more of it was so good just to hear his voice and to know that all those proceeds, all the profits and everything are actually going to a good place to his family. Shout out to Havoc and The Alchemist for doing that for him, because that's a big move. You know, I mean, what if this album sold X amount, you know, or got this amount of money? To be able to give that to his family is just amazing to me. It really is. And it shows you how much Havoc and The Alchemist actually really do care for what they put together, and it just sounds amazing. So
what's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 was Nas, Light Years. I was gonna rant about the same thing because, you know, it's tough to hear our veterans get shot down. And especially with something that a 30-year project in the making that we were waiting for. And then you guys get mad because he's not talking about robbing and mugging you. You know,
but it's not even the criticism is not even on Nas. It's on Primo. And I said this during the pandemic. I said this years ago that if this album is no good, what are people going to say about Primo now? Because when I was saying that back in 2020, people thought I was crazy. This is 2025, and now people are hearing what I was saying back then. You know what I'm saying? So all the criticism is going on the beat selection, you know, by Nas, but it's mainly the production by Primo. But I don't look at Nas as a bad beat picker. That's something that DJ Vlad started. I've never heard nobody say he was a bad beat picker until Vlad ran with that narrative.
Yeah, but Vlad runs with everything he can. He's gonna do whatever he can to stay
Right,
relevant, and
right.
I get it.
Salute Jay
But
Luna.
yeah, about to say salute, and you picked up Black Phone 2.
Nice.
I have not seen that yet. I
Oh,
heard it's more like a
I
Freddie.
love part two. I liked it better than part one. I definitely it had a real Nightmare on Elm Street type of vibe going on with it.
That's what I heard, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to pick that up. Unless you want to throw me the did now, I'm just playing. I have to pick that one up. To check that out soon. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is De La Soul, Cabin in the Sky. Again,
I
another
got it.
posthumous album with a group that lost a member. Rest in peace to True Goy, Dove, Dave, we miss you. Again, like this is a group that they were recording a lot of unreleased stuff. They were always in the studio. They have tons of material that they could work with, and I felt like they did a excellent job of keeping him around on the album, but not necessarily you hear him on every song.
Yeah,
And
I heard he's only on like 3 or 4
yeah,
songs.
but
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, like the way that they did it, they fleshed it out where the Cabin Talk intro was brilliant. That's one of the best album intros ever, where you have the actor, um, uh, uh, what's his name, Giancarlo Esposito, right? Great actor. He's been in Spike Lee films, Do the Right Thing. He's on Godfather Harlem, and he plays a school teacher, and they set in class, and all the artists that's on the album or the students in class, and he calls out. He's doing like when you in class and the teacher calls your name and
yeah,
you raise your hand.
yeah,
So he's doing
years,
that,
years.
and right, and when he does that, he gets to Dave, and he gets to True Goy, and he calls his name, and we know he's not here in the physical again, but spiritually he's on the album. He's with us all the time, and I love the fact that they did the whole album around Dave being in class, but you can't hear him, but you can't see him, but you know that he's around. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the last track on the album is called "Don't Push Me," and that's the True Goy solo track. They saved the best for last, and he killed it. The beat was fire. I love the tracks. Sunny Storms, produced by DJ Premier. Like again, it's Premier and Pete Rock is all over this album because during the pandemic, De La was coming out with 2 albums with one with Primo and one with Pete Rock, and they combined some of those tracks together and fit it on this album. And they have the best production on this album. You have joints like Day in the Sun featuring Q-Tip and Yummy Bingham. That's one of the singles that's out now. I love that song. They got the Native Tongue collab on there. You got the title track Cabin in the Sky was a heartfelt message by Positive News to his partner and friend True Goy. I think people got to listen to that. It was really touching. Almost brought me to tears. But the whole album was really melodic. It was really a great touching tribute to True Goy. And this to me is one of the best De La Soul albums in years.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, I got to get up on that. I haven't listened to it yet. It's like I said, this year is just so much music to consume that it's been tough, and it's been tough calling anything a classic. But I see the potential. I feel where it's coming from. Let me just answer this real quick. No, I have not checked out.
I did see that. I
Newest.
enjoyed that film because I'm a lifelong Spike Lee fan. I met Spike Lee back in '92. I love it, the movie. Him and Denzel, they like don't miss. They don't miss on projects. Malcolm X, so he got game, Inside Man. I think this movie was good. I love the ASAP Rocky. His acting was good in this film as well. He didn't have to go outside of what he normally does as an artist. And it had a great supporting cast. The different shots of New York City, and I loved it. I think it's a good film, and that's another film I heard like from a lot of critics this year. It got unfair criticism. And I didn't understand why, but I thought that was a good film.
It's people. People are always they're always gonna give that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 3?
All right, my number 3. It gets a lot of the rollout, the way that they did it, the collaboration, the comeback, and that's going to be the Clips. Let God sort them out.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do want to say as far as the album goes. I love it. Classic Pharrell.
Mhm.
Some of the hooks that Pharrell is on, I kind of wish he would not have been
Right.
on, but I get it. It's classic Clips in Pharrell.
Right.
I don't think he deserved a nomination. I think
I agree.
Alchemist
I agree.
deserved more, but because I feel like because now that he is running Louis Vuitton and
Mhm.
he had them doing the Louis Vuitton runway and performing, and like I said, the rollout was absolutely genius.
Right.
And that's what created a lot of this hype behind the album.
Mhm.
And then I think for once that Malice really showed out in this album.
Definitely.
I already knew what to expect from Pusha T, but having Malice being gone for so long, I'm thinking in my head, can he really still do this?
Mhm.
So that was surprising. But for the amount of nominations that they're getting for this, it kind of puts it in the same, like, I don't feel that Kendrick deserves all the nominations that he's getting for GNX. I just don't think that was a great album.
Right.
So for me, this album is amazing. I love it, but I don't think it should have, production wise, been outshined by The Alchemist, because The Alchemist has been murdering
Definitely.
album on top of album, plus
Yep.
the little things he's been doing on different projects here and there. And I
Facts.
feel like it's real politics involved in this one.
Oh yeah.
Again, because I don't see anybody wearing cowboy shit from Louis Vuitton, so I just have a real problem with it. I'm sorry, y'all can hate me all you want, but I feel that it was just timing that really made this album a little bit more than it was as far as nominations. I don't think every track is a banger. There are one or two that are kind of missed for me,
Okay.
but other than that, I mean, I think every feature killed it. And especially Stove God Cooks, that hook was amazing.
Definitely.
Another blown opportunity on his side, but
Yep.
we can get into that a little later if you want.
Mhm.
The Clips, I just feel like the nominations weren't really that, at least production wise. We should have
Right.
got Alchemist in there
For sure.
than Pharrell. Pharrell's been off his game for a long time.
Yeah.
And then finally he comes back like this, and now so
Mhm.
I kind of just feel like politics was involved in this
Yeah.
one.
Definitely. All right.
But what is your number 2?
My number 2, speaking of Alchemist, my number 2 is Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, Alfredo 2. The first Alfredo album was a modern day classic. I loved it. And he hit us with part 2, and I didn't even know this was coming out because at the beginning of the year, this whole great year of hip hop given to us started off with Alchemist, with 2 Chainz and Larry June. Okay, and that album was great, and nobody's talking about that album. And I'm not a 2 Chainz fan, but I was curious to check out the album because I wanted to hear how 2 Chainz sounded with Larry June and Alchemist, and he sounded great. One of his best albums ever. Right.
The only song that I didn't like that had the feature was the one with, what was it, Young Thug? Was it Young Thug? He was real, whoever it was, I know it was something Thug, but he was real offbeat. I mean, 2 Chainz saved the song.
Right.
But he was very offbeat, trying to speed rap and all this shit. But I agree, nobody's talking about that 2 Chainz album. You actually put me on to that.
Life is Beautiful. That's a beautiful album. He got the right name for the album. The album is phenomenal. I loved it. And then he hit us with this album that came out of nowhere because I didn't hear nothing about Alfredo 2 coming out. And this man is the modern day Pete Rock, DJ Premier, and Teddy Riley all in one. Alchemist should really be nominated for Producer of the Year, but I understand why they gave it to Pharrell. Pharrell has done a lot for pop music. He's done a lot for rap and R&B. But let's be real, like you said, he's been off his game for a very long time. I can't even remember the last produced album by Pharrell that I enjoyed until the Clips album came out this year. But he did his thing. But Alchemist has had a run, and he never slipped. From 1999 to 2025, he's had a phenomenal run, giving different artists from Ras Kass to Jadakiss to Freddie Gibbs and Mobb Deep all heat the whole year. He's been this.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he has an Erykah Badu album that hasn't dropped yet. Oh, by the
Yes.
way, he has a Mos Def album that haven't dropped yet, and he's coming out with an album with Future. So this
Yeah.
man slate is going to be busy. He has another album that he's dropping with Conway. This is
Yeah.
one of the busiest mans in hip hop, and I felt like for the Grammys to do that, I feel like they dropped the ball with that producer of the year category. He has to
Yeah.
be nominated for sure before Pharrell. I love Pharrell. I love the Neptunes, but to nominate Pharrell for one album this year that he did
Yeah.
is insane compared to what the run that Alchemist has had. But this
Yeah.
album was great. We have the single Enchiladas with
love
Anderson
that
Paak. That was fire. Mar-a-Lago, 1995, Shangri-La, a phenomenal no skip hip hop album. This is one of the best. And the Grammys dropped the ball with putting this album in album of the year. That should be an album of the year as well.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, it again. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't deserve. I'm saying as far as production wise, Pharrell doesn't deserve to be nominated for like what Try just said. One album.
One album.
I can't name in the past 5 years. I cannot name a Pharrell solo project that has been credible.
No.
Yet The Alchemist has been killing it and killing it and killing it and killing it. So I just don't understand. In that Erykah Badu album, come on, brother. You know that shit's going to be fire. The Conway joint's going to be fire.
Yep.
He's going to bring out, I think we're all going to be shocked by Future. He's going to bring something out in Future that we're going to be like, yo, where did this shit come from? Because it seems like everybody that's been doing something with him knows they cannot come whack as shit. They know it. They know it because they'll get blown out the water like, yo, Alchemist, you gave this man this dope ass beat and he sounds like this. So the Alchemist to me has been killing it as far as, you know, as far as Pharrell getting the production of the year. Nah, not at all. Not at all. No. In Kendrick's album, the only I'll be honest, the only reason why it hit is because he went after Drake and he won that battle.
The thing is that song is not even on the album. So he's this is coming off of the momentum of beating Drake in that battle. Yeah. And to me, I like GNX. I feel like it's a different album from Kendrick. It was more of a salute to his home, to California, and has a lot of bops, a lot of West Coast sounding tracks on that album. But album of the year, I think Clip's album was better than GNX.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alfredo 2 is better.
Alfredo 2 was great.
Conway, well, it's a little too late because the entries were too late. But like Mobb Deep would have beat that out. Oh, Conway's album would have beat that out.
For sure.
Personally, I think Stabbed and Shot 2 is better than GNX. I just don't. I don't see what all the hype was. You know what I mean? And like I was anticipating like something dope, like Damn or Butterfly or something, and then it just kind of it just didn't do it for me. And that's just me. I don't, you know, everybody has their own opinion, and that's just me. You know, so it is what it is.
All right. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is the same as you. Alfredo 2. Nice. I mean, what more can we say about it? You know, I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I mean, that album, besides my number 1, has been in heavy rotation, Enchiladas, and it was a great follow-up. And I think it's very hard because Alfredo also has no skips, but I think this one just beat-wise and a little bit more edgier and he took a little bit more risks. I think this one edges out Alfredo just a little bit.
I agree.
Just a tiny bit. Not like, oh my God, there's 4 more tracks that are doper. It's just like by a little bit, and I can't really put my finger on it. I think it was just, like I said, he was a little bit edgier in this one. And he did go a little at Griselda. But other than that, I mean, the album is immaculate. I love it. I absolutely love it, but not more than my number 1. So, but what is your number 1?
My number 1 is the Clips, you know, Let God Sort Them Out. And after years of being away, Malice left the group. He went off. He found himself. He lived his life. I didn't think he was coming back. And then I thought, huh?
I didn't think so either.
Yeah, I remember they did a Netflix actually has a documentary. I don't know how many people seen it, but there's an actual documentary on the Clipse on Netflix that came out a couple years ago, and it was more about Malice leaving the group and living his own life and not he had issues with the industry. And even when he came back, I've seen him in interviews when they were doing this whole press run for the album, and he's talking about there's things about the industry that he doesn't like, but he wanted to come back for his brother. And when your brother make that call, you answer the call, and Pusha made that call to him, and he came back, and he is the MVP of this album lyrically.
Yeah.
And I really there's tracks where they both shined on it, but there's a lot of tracks where he shined by himself on it. And that's something that was different in the past, where it was all about Pusha. When you hear Lord Willing, it was Pusha on that. When you hear what's the joint? I'm forgetting the name. The second or the third album, forgot the joint.
Hell.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the. You know what I'm talking about?
Fury, Fireman.
Right. That album. Hell Hath No Fury. My bad.
Yeah,
Hell Hath No Fury. That's my favorite Clipse album. Like I feel like for that album, when that came out, I think it was like 06, 07, the Neptunes gave them their hardest beats ever for anyone on that album. Love that album. And the beat selection, the singles were great. They didn't have too many features on there. But again, it was all Pusha on that album. Till the Casket Drops was okay. Couple bangers. It wasn't one of my favorites, but they did use different producers at that time. But this album here, this is like their true reunion album, and bringing No Malice back into the fold with Pusha. They sound like a group again. They sounded fresh. I love the production from Pharrell, and I was skeptical because when the Net, he had issues with Chad for the Neptunes, and they split. They had a lawsuit going on, and I'm like, can Pharrell really, make this album great by himself? Because he's never done a rap album by himself unless it was a rap album for him. But to do a Clipse album, and this is his artist. This is him and Chad's artist from back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and for him to do this album by himself and to record the album in Paris at the Louis Vuitton headquarters, which is crazy. And I remember when Pusha T in the interview was talking about it, and they were like right next door to like the room where they like do the actual clothes and they sew it and everything. And to have all that chaos around them at the headquarters and to give us a modern day classic album is phenomenal. And so I love that. I still feel like Pharrell shouldn't have gotten, Producer of the Year a nomination. Well, if you're gonna give him that, you got to give Alchemist a 1 too, because to me, Alchemist has been on a longer run than Pharrell. And I love the Neptunes, but Pharrell getting nominated for doing one album this year is crazy. But I love it. I think it is the best album of the year. It's debatable, because I know people have, they love De La album, they love the Nas album, but I feel like this is the best album of the year. I do want to see them get a Grammy or two. I think because we have 3 rap albums in the album of the year category, one of those albums got to win. If it's not Clipse, it got to be GNX or Tyler. But I do feel like I would love to see the Clipse get a Grammy for their hard work, and they deserve it. I have nothing but good things to say about them. They're one of my favorites, and I'm glad that they're nominated. I do want to see them win one at least.
Yeah, I would like to see him win more than one. Maybe not. I really honestly think that Gen X is going to end up being album of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like I said, I think it's politics. I don't really care too much for the Grammys or Emmys or any of that shit, because it's all politics. It's all, and, this was Kendrick's year as far as like what was going on in hip hop. So I think album of the year is going to go to him. Unfortunately, I don't think it should, but I think it is. And obviously producer of the year is going to go to Pharrell. We all know this too. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So
what is your number one album of the year?
My number one is from my favorite Wu-Tang artist of all time, and that's Ghostface Supreme Clientele 2.
Wow, number one. I didn't expect that. Wow.
To me, Ghostface has always been my number one out of Wu-Tang since the day I heard him.
Right.
Yes, I love Meth. Meth was always the fun one, but you know, RZA, everybody has done their own thing. I love the entire Wu-Tang, but I waited so long, in my opinion, because Supreme Clientele is my favorite album.
Right.
And when I heard the follow-up, I just felt like I was back in that time again. I just felt that capsule into me. It was just amazing. He didn't let me down. Rap Kingpin is still that single off that joint just had my head knocking because I instantly thought of, you know, Supreme. It just reminded me of the Supreme Clientele right away off the bat. I absolutely loved it. And I can't not put that as my number one. I can't because I love that album. To me, it's amazing. And he'll always be my favorite because Ghost is one of the very few artists that can literally, I believe he can hop on a country song if he wants to and somehow make that shit work and make it smooth.
Oh, yeah.
When you think of artists and lyricism, there's not a lot of artists that can be versatile.
Right.
You know, they're kind of stuck in one. Ghost has never put himself in just one category. He has had the Pretty Tony album, super slept on.
Definitely.
The Wizard of Oz, the Ghostini,
Ghostini. I love that album. Yeah.
After giving it a re-listen, I see where you love it. I see where you like it.
Right.
To me, it still has 4 or 5 throwaways, but I still can't disrespect how many projects, whether he was on a major or independent or doing it himself, he has never disappointed as far as lyricism went or anything. One of my other favorites is Bulletproof Wallets.
I love that. Love that album.
But that was one of those albums that had to sit and resonate with people before they realized what it really was. Especially my song "The Forest." That's just fire.
Bulletproof Wallets. Classic. Come on now. What we doing?
Big Dope Rehab. That's still my shit. Like Ghost just never disappoints, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my number one.
Dope.
I want to get into the juicy, the bad, or just ones that, you know, not necessarily bad, but just wasn't what you expected.
Yeah.
So I need to hear what is your number 5 Triborough.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the bad because the others are like mid. The worst rap album that I've heard, and this came out November of last year. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, Missionary. That is the worst rap album of Dr. Dre's career. And I was skeptical with that because I remember hearing the Compton album that he did for the for Straight Outta Compton movie, and I didn't like the Compton album. But this album is worse than Compton. And they promoted this. I saw them on Drink Champs. I saw them on Jimmy Fallon. They were everywhere promoting this trash album. The production is garbage. They picked the right singles. But again, I've heard albums in the past like Jay-Z Blueprint 3, another trashy album. He picked the right singles. But the rest of the album was garbage. This album was trash. And this was a huge letdown. You know that old saying, let Nas down? Dre let me down with this album. Because I really thought he was going to, you know, go in the vault and bring out his best beats for this album, that another long-awaited project we were waiting for since Doggy Style, 1993, with Snoop Dogg, and he let me down with this album. And I think after this, he needs to retire. Go somewhere far away. I don't want to see you ever again. But this album was bad. This album was bad. Snoop Dogg, he tried, but even Snoop Dogg couldn't save this album. Like, this album was trash. They had their collabs with 50 Cent was on the album, and Method Man, and they even had a song with the late great Tom Petty. Rest in peace to Tom Petty. Tom Petty is rolling in his grave right now. This album was garbage. Do not like it. I would not buy it. I don't have it. I don't ever want to have it. And I suggest people just skip this album. If you want to hear classic Dre and Snoop, you stick to Doggy Style, you stick to Murder Was the Case soundtrack. That's it. So that's the worst album of the year for me.
Wow. All right. I mean, mine actually, it goes against my better judgment because, you know, anybody knows me, I made a video about the guy. I love me some Benny the Butcher. but Summertime Butch 2 was just god awful.
Mm.
I mean, I'm glad right now he's following it up because I also didn't like the Executioner that much.
Right.
Or Excalibur, whatever the hell it was called.
Excalibur, I remember that.
Yeah, Excalibur.
Yeah.
Even that one was like, it was okay. It just, it didn't really like boom, grab me like Tana Talk 2, Tana Talk 3,
Right.
Tana Talk
Right.
4, the plugs I met. So it didn't like grab me like that. I love the first Summertime Butch when he came out with it last year. I was bopping with it and I was like, yo, he's back. And then they followed that up with Stabbed and Shot 2, 38 Special doing his thing. 38 Special, another slept on album, was Mother and His Gun.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's a fire album.
Yeah.
Slept on, never talked about. So 38 Special, shout out to you. Props. Maybe one day we can get you on the show.
Definitely.
But Summertime Butch 2, I felt like he just threw it out there because now he's in the point where he feels like I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm the next Hove. I could do whatever I want. I'm just going to throw a project out there just to throw it out there. And it pissed me off as a fan. And on top of that, it's like short. It's like 28 minutes. It's like, give me more music. I need more than one verse and 2 hooks. You know what I mean? Like, you are doing this for people like us, people like me and Triborough that actually consume and appreciate the music.
Right.
And I know that today's kids are more like, oh, the first 10 seconds, oh, I can't stand this shit. Next.
Right.
We will sit there and actually listen. Even if I don't like the beat, I'm still going to give the lyricism a try. Right. But Summertime Butch 2 just didn't do it for me. So
I think his last great album was Burden of Proof with Hit Boy. That was 2020. That was his last great album. Since then, he's given us crap. And I think I was watching another show where they were talking about Conway being the best one. I definitely agree. Conway has the best discography, and he's elevating his game with every project. And I feel like Conway's the best one right now on Griselda. Westside is we know what Westside gonna give you, but Benny, I had high hopes for Benny. I think lyrically he's just as good as Conway, but it's the subject matter and the content of his albums that's gonna hold him back because he's not showing his vulnerable side. He's not showing different emotions, and Conway has already surpassed him. So I feel like Conway is going to definitely be the guy to go to in Griselda.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. I still love me some Benny, but I have been noticing that when Conway puts something out, he's actually putting thought. There's emotion. There's like some R&B joints that you can throw on there. I mean, he is really crafting his craft, and I appreciate that, especially with what happened to him and being paralyzed. I mean, this guy thought he was never going to be able to rap again.
Right.
So I think, unfortunately, with that happening, is what really made him say, you never know when this can go away. So he really puts thought into everything that he does. And I do love some Conway, but Summertime Butch 2, no. Yeah. And I can't agree with you. That's not the dopest album he's put out. I can't agree with all that saying. I do love. I'm a sucker for Benny when it comes to certain things.
Right. So I love early Benny, like Tana Talk 3, Tana Talk 4, Burden of Proof, the mixtapes he did with 38 Special. Those were great. But I have Plugs I Met, phenomenal series. But I haven't seen that greatness from Benny in a long time. And I was telling you last night, I'm like, yo, that Def Jam debut where he was promoting it like that's gonna be the best shit since DMX. You far from it. Never. DMX now, Dead and Gone is better than him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that album really, realistically, maybe 4 tracks on it that were dope.
Yeah.
And one of them being MVP, and I like the way that he flipped Biggie's 10 Crack Commandments and continuing that.
Yeah. That was dope.
But yeah, I mean, I think if he doesn't really elevate himself and open himself up a little bit, he's gonna end up in that Myth Bleak kind of category.
He's gonna be one-dimensional. He's one-dimensional, coke, mafioso rap type of artist right now.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But
try. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is we staying with Griselda. It's another artist that we didn't hear from until now. Keisha Plum. She's a poet. She's done poetry on the West Side Gun stuff. The mixtapes and all that. Before they got real popular. And she dropped an album this year called Trouble, and it's basically a poetry over grimy Derringer type beats. And I thought it was a different type of album. I don't see nobody mentioning the album or talking about it. And I heard it because I remember Keisha Plum from the early Griselda mixtapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she did her thing. I felt like they dropped the ball with the promotion. They should have been promoting this because this is a different type of album. She's not singing, she's not rapping, but she's doing spoken word poetry over Derringer type of production. And I think that in itself for Griselda, you have a different type of artist that could potentially be a big star one day on that label, and there's no promotion for the album. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why are we seeing all this promotion for a crappy Benny album, but we get no promotion for a poet, a spoken word artist on your label, and there's no promotion for it, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed the album. I think if you love spoken word poetry and you love grimy beats, this is a match made in heaven, and people need to check it out.
All right. My number 4 might get some people pissed, but and I know it gets you a little upset. Not trash, but not what I expected, especially from my third favorite Wu-Tang member, and that's Raekwon's Emperor's New Clothes.
Wow, you didn't like Raekwon's album?
It just wasn't what I was hoping from him. I think some of the production is very lazy. His laid back flow it didn't capture me like it usually does. And I just wasn't feeling it. I'm not saying that it's a horrible album,
right,
but it's far from great. I listened to it once and then I tried to go through it again and I found myself skipping 6 out of the 11 tracks, 12 tracks.
Wow.
I just couldn't do it. So maybe in the future, when I'm in a different mindset, maybe it was the mindset. Maybe it was just at that particular time. But for right now, not feeling that album.
I will say
not
this.
Bad, but I'm not feeling it.
I was surprised at the Swiss Beats track on there. There's a Swiss Beats track that Ray did that he came out with it as a single. I believe Method Man is on there and Ghostface. That I was surprised because again, when we talk about producers over their prime, Swiss Beats has been over his prime for like the last 25 years. And I felt like he had to go in the vault and dig that beat out, and that beat was fire. So salute to Swizz for having a gem in the chamber, and he brought it out and gave it the Ray. That was one of the best songs on that album.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping for like maybe a Cuban Link 3 type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because Cuban Link 2 was a great follow-up to Cuban Links. And I loved how they paid homage to making the CD case purple and like the whole booklet and him and Ghost. Every song on there was dope. The production was dope, but this one just didn't do it for me. That's all. But what is your number 3? Do you have any real bad albums on here?
Nah, it's only the Dre and Snoop. That's the only bad one. It's a lot of mediocre, and it was like that with the movies. When I was doing the movie list, I was looking at the movies I've seen for the whole year. There's a lot of mids on that list. But I got number 3, Master Killer. We staying with the Wu-Tang Clan. Master Killer. He has an album out called Balance. Now, this album to me might be Master Killer's best album, and that's not saying a lot because he's one of those Wu members where, like, lyrically he's great, but his discography didn't show that. And I felt like I've never liked. I know No Set Date. A lot of people love his first album. I didn't think it was great, and his other albums after that I didn't think was good. But I do feel like this is the one album so late in his career that was actually might be his best album ever. You know, he had his Wu collabs on there. Method Man is on it. Riz is on it. You know, again, it suffered from no promotion. How do you have Master Killer with all these Wu features coming out in 2025 when there's no promotion for this album? No promotion, RZA? No promotion, Wu-Tang Clan? You know, Power? No promotion for this? It makes no sense to me. And this came out early in the year. This came out like around March, April. And since then, I have seen nobody talk about this album. They've been talking about the Clips and Ray and Ghost and everything else that came out. Nobody mentioned this album, and I think it's a shame. And I wanted to put it on here for honorable mention, but it's not to me one of the best albums of the year. I do feel like there's a ton of albums that's better than this, but I wanted to mention it that it is a good album. It just suffered from no promotion, just like the Keisha Plum album I just mentioned. No promotion from the label.
All right. Yeah, we saw 50 calling him out, and if they keep playing with 50, 50's not
stupid.
Playing. He said he'll buy the building and
that's stupid.
Like, yeah, I know, but he's petty like that.
Fab is wasting balls in 50 because even if you have a battle, nobody expects 50 lyrically to beat Fab. Fab is a better lyricist. I just feel like Fab, instead of you going at 50, put out a classic album for once. You don't have a classic album to your name. Your mixtapes are always better. Give us one classic album so that you say, okay, I did it. I gave you all a classic album, because you don't have that in his discography.
No, he doesn't. And if anything, 50 has at least one.
he got more than that's one more than Fab.
Yeah. I agree with that, because Fab mixtape lyrically, assassination.
Definitely.
Feature wise, assassination. But album wise, just always a disappointment. Always.
Definitely. Always. What's one of your mid or terrible trash albums this year?
All right, no disrespect, because the man has passed away, but I just feel like this album should never have been done. One of the very few Mass Appeal albums that I rejected as soon as I heard it, and that's Big L's Harlem's Finest.
Wow.
They literally butchered this man's lyricism, speeding it up, slowing it down, because we know these verses. There's nothing different. There was nothing in the archive. Nobody had anything new. These are all old freestyles from the 90s, and everybody knows the Stretch and Bobbito 7-minute freestyle with Jay. I mean, there's nothing new on here, and there was nothing that shocked me in the way they tried to blend and slow down. You could tell that this is something that Big L would have never have approved. And I feel bad, like, if his family does get a lot of these proceeds, I feel bad, because I know it is not going to get, his first album is still going to make more revenue for his family than this album. I just wish that this project never happened. I don't ever want to talk about it after this again. It's just that bad. I do not like what they tried to do at all. At all.
And when I looked at the Mass Appeal schedule this year and I saw that was going to be a release, I was always saying, what are they planning on coming out with? Because Big L has no unreleased stuff left.
No.
Everything that was unreleased from his first album came out already. He has an EP called The Devil's Son, and it was about 5 or 6 songs on that EP. That was the leftovers from Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. So I'm like, other than, The Big Picture came out in 2000, that had a couple freestyles, a couple of, collabs with artists. But other than that, that was it. He didn't report a lot of stuff. So I was like, well, is he really dead? I do remember him getting shot and killed. So I'm like, what do you all have in the chamber for Big L? And I was not surprised. I'm like, this is like listening to Biggie's Born Again all over again. Because that's what they did with Born Again. It was like all rehashed Biggie lyrics over new beats and collabs with people like he probably would have never worked with, like the Cash Money Millionaires. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is trash. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot about that, but I didn't listen to the whole thing. So I was like, I listened to one song and that was it. I'm like, I'm not listening to this, because I know Big L didn't do none of this stuff.
I unfortunately listened to the whole album, and like I said, I just feel like, to me, it was a smack in the face to this man's legacy.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you could tell, we could tell, because we know Big L's, cadence, we know his delivery, we know the songs, we know the verses. So when I hear it being slowed down so that it matches the beat and then goes back, it just was so freaking annoying.
Right.
I just couldn't. I gave it one listen. I tried to see if there was maybe one, because I was going to tell you. Remember, I was like, yo, if there's one new verse on here, I'm going to tell you to at least listen to that song.
Right.
Nothing.
Crazy.
So, didn't need to be done. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Ninth Wonder. Now, Ninth Wonder, love Ninth Wonder, super producer, from Little Brother. He's put out this beat series called Zion, and I think we're up to Zion 8 now. And I will say this is one of the best beat tapes from Ninth Wonder from that Zion series. I do enjoy it again, but there's no promotion. Why we can't get promotion for a beat tape in this day and age? There's no promotion for these beat tapes that come out. Primo dropped a couple of beat tapes over the years. No promotion for that. So you got to be a real hip hop purist to enjoy these beat tapes. And I love this beat tape. I think he had the right type of samples and chops and the hi-hats. And this is one of the best beat tapes in the Zion series. And if you're a fan of beat tapes and instrumentals, definitely check it out. But it's not making my list for like best albums of the year because it is a beat tape. But I just wanted to mention it. I think it is a great series.
All right.
Yeah. What's your next trash or mid album of the year?
Okay, the last 2 are just trash, and there's nothing more. First of all, the audacity to think that Lil Wayne in the Carter 6 is anything.
Oh my God!
But amazing.
I forgot that came out. I didn't even listen to it.
It was terrible, and to think that he just because the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, I can't stand that whole thing. I mean, yes, would it have been cool? Yes, but he wasn't popping. Right. To me, he hasn't had a good album since the Carter 3.
Yeah.
To me, that was his last great, phenomenal album. And I actually liked the original one that got leaked versus the one that's on that came out after it got leaked, because I got the bootleg. When it got leaked, I ended up going to my man's and at the barbershop, I copped it and I was playing it all day. I mean, it was great. And then when the original copy came out, I thought it was going to be all the same songs, but I bought it because the bootleg had some, a little bit of shitty quality. And there was like 3 songs missing. So, but to me, that was the best Carter.
Right.
And that was the last great album that he's came out with. And Carter 6 is no different. Trash, horrible. There's nothing good to say about it. And I'm glad he didn't do the Super Bowl, because if he would have brought any of those songs out, it would have been an instant, I'm shutting the TV off until you're done.
Wow.
Trash.
Listen, I love Lil Wayne. Is to me, he's one of the best of the last 25 years.
Yes.
I do agree. That first Carter series with the original trilogy was great. He should have stopped after 3, because part 4 wasn't great. I have part 5, and part 5 was like a bunch of like unreleased tracks that he threw together and called it Carter 5. And then Carter 6, I didn't even hear it. But I heard so many people tell me like, yo, that shit is garbage. It is trash. I'm not even wasting my time with that. The album he did with 2 Chainz, Welcome to Cali Grove, that was a good album, a good collab album. And even on a lot of those tracks, 2 Chainz outfound him. You know what I'm saying?
To me, he's another one of those where, like, I mean, he could put together better albums than Fab, but when he does collaborations on mixtapes or something like that, like him and Joel Santana, nobody talks about that mixtape collab. That shit was fire. It's just crazy to think that he was so mad and he's subliminally dissing Jay, but will be on the next track. I love Jay. Like, it's just, he was in his feelings. He rushed it out too much. It got way too much promotion. It blew the hell up as far as promotion wise went. Nicki was sticking by him with the whole Super Bowl thing. So it just, it was trash.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it because
I love Weezy. I feel like I've always said this. If Weezy has to do the Super Bowl, he only has like maybe 1 or 2 commercial songs that he could actually perform for that audience. You can't do songs like Pussy Monster and Prostitution Slaying at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? He would have to like cut his performance short and then bring out his friends Khaled and Ace Hood and all these other people. You know what I'm saying? So Rick Ross, you know what I mean?
It wouldn't be him.
Yeah.
Realistically, at the Super Bowl, could he have even pulled off Lollipop?
Yeah, it would have to be clean version Lollipop.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Just please don't listen to it because you'll feel like Lil Wayne
I,
ruined his.
I forgot that came out. That came out earlier this year too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, trash. What's your number 2?
All right, I got Dave East, another collab album. Dave East and Young Chris from State Property. They had an album come out this year called Flying Dining, and it was okay. It wasn't great. I feel like it was a bad pairing with Young Chris is so different stylistically
Yeah.
compared to Dave East. And I was like, what is this? And Dave is known for doing this because he dropped another collab album this year with Ransom, and that was a better album called The Final Call, one of the best albums of the year. Great production, but it was that album matched both their sounds. This album don't match their sound. Like the beats on here don't match Dave East and it don't match Young Chris. And there was some tracks on here where it sounded like it was State Property featuring Dave East. And I'm like, what am I hearing? What is this? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait, you're from Dave East is from Harlem, Queensbridge, and you got an artist from Philly. I'm like, their styles don't match. It don't match. And I just felt like that was like a desperate attempt to like, okay, well, I did this album with Ransom. Let me do this with Young Chris, and it didn't hit.
Yeah.
So what's your next?
Right.
What's your number one? We're at the number one round, right?
Yeah, number one. I was looking forward to this because everything they've done, I love when they get together. I mean, this collab, as far as an artist and a DJ, is just so well known. It's such a connection.
Right.
But Still Snowing from Jeezy and DJ Drama is absolutely just, I don't know what Drama and him were thinking when they made this album. What made them sit down and say, that is fire? That I get he's trying to be on his grown man. I'm more mature, but I'm still gonna sprinkle in the I got what he was trying to do, but the execution was just not executed.
Right.
So if you haven't heard that album yet, don't, because it's going to ruin how I feel about DJ Drama and Jeezy. Every time they used to do a collaboration, it was so fire. But it was also, those collaborations were not meant for the stores. Those were the street underground joints. And for him to put this together and put it out on the mainstream, it just, it fell flat. Every song is super upbeat and like dancey and like, leave that style for Tyler the Creator, because you are not the creator of that style.
Right.
You know, I can't do it. So don't listen to it, people. Trash album. I don't know. He's still not Snowman. I don't know where this guy, he's melting. I don't know where he came from. But anyways, what is your number one?
Number one for me, you just mentioned him, Tyler the Creator, Chromacopia. Now, this album came out late last year. I know he has another album that's out now, but Chromacopia is nominated for Album of the Year. And I was surprised at that. I'm like, y'all didn't nominate Alfredo too, but you put Chromacopia in there? That makes no sense, man. But it was okay. If I only listened to it once, it was nothing on that album that was really catching to me. I feel like ever since Tyler won the Grammy, he's done music to cater to the Grammy committee. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I started to notice it on what's that album? The album he had with Earthquake on there. Forgot the name of that joint. But it's like a pink album cover. But ever since that album, we started to really, his music is changing. It's not the same as when he came out with Flower Boy and Bastard and Wolf. Those were his great albums.
Yeah.
That Tyler now is catering more to mainstream and to the Grammys. And I don't like it. I don't really think it was a great album to be nominated for Album of the Year when there's a ton of other albums that's better than that.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't even listen to his new album. I know he has a new album out. I didn't even bother listen to that.
It's not bad, but it's not, if you're not in a dancing mood, that's basically what he made. He made a dancing album.
Okay.
He made an album that literally you could put on and it feels like you're back in like late 80s, early 90s type of dancing vibe.
Right.
He gets a little grimy on some tracks, but for the
Mm.
most part, he is just literally trying to do this to get another Grammy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I agree with that.
So he basically came out with a dance album like Drake did with Honestly Nevermind, and that was a dance album too.
Yeah. It's just basically, and I mean, he's calling it, "This is what I wanted to do."
Right.
But I really think like he just did it to go for more Grammy nominations for next year.
Crazy.
To be honest, because even my son's huge on Tyler the Creator. You know, my teenager loves him, and I don't mind him listening to his music because I introduced him to hardcore rap. So he's used to all that, and he knows what's right from wrong. But you know, even he was like, "Dad, it's just a little too dancey for me. It feels like I'm in the car when you're listening to house music." And I'm like, "You watch your mouth, boy." So you know, it is one of those. Maybe a once to go around, but make sure you're in a good mood.
I'm gonna check it out because I like dance albums when it's done right though. So for him to do a dance album, I want to check it out.
It's well put together, but I just feel like he's going for another nomination. He just wants now. I think he's gotten into that bug of that's what I want, you know. And I just hope that he don't try to be like the next weekend or something. Because I mean, it's not happening. But it is very up tempo, upbeat. You do want to bop your head, but it's one of those. If you're in a bad mood, like if you get pissed off and then you just happen to pop that album on, you're gonna instantly reject it. Wow. So that's why I said, don't be in a bad mood. Just be in that chill vibe. Put it in, and you'll see what I mean. With it feels like you want to go to the club. And just back in the day club where nobody played the wall and wanted to shoot you. So it's a good one.
All right. So are we gonna mention like other great albums from different genres?
Do you want to hear let's save that one because we're already an hour and 10 minutes in. So we'll save that for another episode. Do you want to announce next week's episode? Or do you want to save that for the haters?
Let's save that one.
All right.
We're gonna save that one. That can be a good one though. We're gonna save that.
Yeah. Well, we just like to say thank you for everybody that tuned in, everybody that does tune in. This podcast does have its own channel, so make sure y'all subscribe to it. We are live streaming on both simultaneously right now, but eventually we are going to push all that right to the podcast, and it is just going to be that's what it's for. We are working on new guests. Triborough is going to be reaching out to new guests. I'm reaching out to new guests. And we're going to have some old ones come back on to remix what we talked about in the previous one. So we are looking forward to a very good, positive year. You know, we're just looking forward to it. And eventually we want to be where you want to be on Friday nights. Anything you want to say before you head out?
Hey, this has been a great year. Salute to everybody that supported what we've done, what I've done, what Nick has done. You know, thank you again, Nick, for allowing me to be the host, another host on here. I love it. And like I said, we're gonna make this the best platform on Friday nights. It's gonna be a place where people can come and relax and get entertained. And you know, I'm loving it. And look, I'm looking forward to another a great year, 2026, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I just like the fact that we can blend any genre of music except for country. You know, but I mean,
I know a little country.
The expansion that we can go when it comes to culture. We are going to try to get artists on here, even if they're older artists that maybe you guys never heard of, that are a younger audience. But we want to keep the culture alive, the fashion trends that used to be, and you know, because the way y'all dress now is whack as hell. I don't know what the fuck y'all's doing. But, you know, we want to keep all that alive and just have a good time. And, of course, there's going to be debating on this. It's always going to be like that. That's why it's called Raw Takes Unfiltered. Yep. I don't agree with him on some things. He don't agree with me on some things. But that's what makes this such a unique thing because I'm not going to give in. Triborough ain't going to give in.
No.
I can't manipulate him, yo. Triborough.
No. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. No, I don't hear you.
But we love y'all for the support, man. We're going to keep pushing this out and eventually just be on that one channel every Friday night. And then you can still check out Triborough. He goes live all the time, does premieres all the time. That Ain't Rap podcast. He has had some amazing live episodes the past couple of days. I've been loving them. And if you want to get a real kick out of something, go watch the Mobb Deep one with Mojo Flows.
Yeah.
You know what though? I respect his opinions. I respect the fact that he could be honest like that, and especially being from this generation and compared to where he is from. I love that about that guy. I will give him that. He don't care what you think. I love that. So he will be up on this platform soon.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is much love. We are going to head out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out, because I'm coming in the new year with some crazy theories, some bangers, some weird movie theories, deep dives, all that shit. We are coming back hard.
Yes.
Anyways, much love. Salute to all of y'all. Peace.
Peace.